Imagine this. Last year, your favorite coffee cost $3. But today, it's $4. What happened? Did the coffee beans get fancier? Did the barista get a raise? Nope. This is inflation, and it's happening all around us. But what exactly is inflation, and why does it make everything more expensive? Inflation is when the prices of goods and services go up over time. It's why your grandparents could buy a loaf of bread for a few cents, while today, it costs a few dollars. But inflation isn't just about higher prices. It's about the value of your money shrinking. The same dollar buys you less and less. But here's the twist. Not all inflation is bad. A little inflation can be healthy for an economy. It encourages people to spend and invest rather than hoard their money. But too much inflation? That's when things start to spiral out of control, like a balloon inflating until it pops. So, where does inflation come from? Economists point to two main causes: demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. Think of it like this. Demand pull inflation happens when there's too much demand for too few goods. Cost push inflation, on the other hand, is when it costs more to make things. Inflation has been around for centuries. In fact, one of the earliest recorded instances was in ancient Rome, when emperors reduced the silver content in coins to make more money. This led to skyrocketing prices and some very angry Romans. Yep, inflation is older than you might think. Okay, let's talk about demand pull inflation. Picture this. A new video game console is released. Everyone wants one, but there aren't enough to go around. Retailers raise the price because they know people will still pay for it. That's demand pull inflation in action. Too much demand, not enough supply. Now, let's explore cost push inflation. Imagine a pizza shop. Suddenly, the cost of cheese skyrockets. To stay in business, the shop has to raise the price of their pizzas. This is cost push inflation, when production costs go up and businesses pass those costs to consumers. Let's break it down further. Demand pull inflation is like too many kids chasing one ice cream truck. It drives up prices. Cost push inflation is like the ice cream truck's gas getting more expensive. Either way, your ice cream cone ends up costing more. Different reasons, same result, rising prices. But wait, there's another player in the inflation game, the money supply. If a country prints too much money, its value drops. Imagine if everyone suddenly had $1 million. Sounds great, right? But if everyone's rich, who's going to make the coffee or grow the food? You might have heard about hyperinflation, when inflation gets totally out of control. In Zimbabwe in the 2000s, prices doubled every few days. People carried wheelbarrows of cash just to buy bread. It's a reminder of what can happen when inflation runs wild. But how does inflation affect you? For starters, your savings lose value. Let's say you hide $100 under your mattress for a year. If inflation is 5%, that $100 now buys only $95 worth of stuff. It's like your money is quietly shrinking. Inflation doesn't affect everyone equally. For example, if you have a fixed income, like a pension, you might struggle as prices rise. But if you own assets, like a house, their value might go up with inflation. Winners and losers, it's a mixed bag. Here's the weird part. Governments and central banks actually aim for some inflation, around 2% per year. It keeps the economy moving. But when inflation gets too high or too low, it's like driving a car that's either too fast or too slow. Neither is safe. One tool governments use to control inflation is interest rates. When inflation is too high, they raise interest rates to slow spending. It's like turning down the heat on a boiling pot. But lower rates can speed things up if the economy is sluggish. So, inflation is like a balancing act. Too little, and the economy stalls. Too much, and it overheats. But when it's just right, it keeps everything running smoothly. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how inflation affects you and what you can do about it. Let's talk about how inflation impacts your wallet. Imagine you're saving up for a new bike. If inflation is high, the price of that bike keeps going up, and your savings lose their value over time. It's like trying to fill a leaking bucket. Frustrating, right? But here's the flip side. Inflation can also help people with debt. If you owe money, inflation shrinks the real value of what you owe over time, making it easier to pay off your loans. It's like a balloon lifting a heavy weight higher and higher. Now, what about your paycheck? If wages don't keep up with inflation, your purchasing power drops. That's when things feel unfair, like running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up while you stay in the same place. Inflation also affects businesses. When the cost of materials rises, companies often pass those costs onto customers. So, that cup of coffee you love? It's getting pricier because the beans, milk, and even the cup cost more. And don't forget about your investments. Inflation can eat into the returns on your savings and retirement funds. It's like planting a garden, only to have weeds grow faster than your flowers. But here's some good news. You can take steps to protect yourself. For instance, investing in assets like stocks, real estate, or even inflation-protected bonds can help your money grow, even when prices rise. Ever wondered why inflation happens in the first place? One major reason is demand pull inflation. When everyone wants the same thing, like concert tickets or a new gaming console, prices naturally go up. It's basic supply and demand. Another cause is cost push inflation. When the cost to produce goods rises, like higher wages or expensive raw materials, companies raise prices to cover their costs. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger. And then there's money supply. When too much money is printed and circulated in the economy, it loses value. It's like adding too much water to soup. It dilutes the flavor. So, what happens if inflation goes out of control, like during hyperinflation? In extreme cases, prices can double in days, and money becomes almost worthless. This has happened in countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela. But inflation isn't always bad. In fact, mild inflation encourages spending and investing, which keeps the economy growing. It's like a happy flame that warms the house. Just don't let it turn into a wildfire. So, what can you do about inflation? Start by keeping an eye on your budget. Track your spending and prioritize essentials. It's like steering a ship through stormy seas. You need a clear plan to stay on course. And don't forget to save smartly. Consider high-yield savings accounts or investing in assets that grow over time. Think of it as planting seeds in a garden that'll bloom in the future. To sum it up, inflation is a normal part of the economy. It can be good, bad, or downright ugly, depending on how it's managed. The key is to stay informed and prepared. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let's keep learning together and tackling big topics like inflation.